Welcome back to the channel and another preview for the Cheltenham Festival, and today we're on to the National Hunt Chase, which to be honest isn't the most inspiring race of all time, and it might just not be worth having a bet. Yeah, I'm not having a bet on it, but we're just going to talk through it and pick out some interesting horses towards the top of the market, starting off with Statler, who has some good hurdles for me. He was behind Galopin des Champs in his last start over hurdles, and we all know what Galopin des Champs has done over fences since. Now Statler isn't in the same league as Galopin des Champs, but I think he's a decent enough horse in his own right, and I think he will definitely be one that might. I think he will go for this trip actually. He seems to stay all day, and this trip would seem to suit. I don't think he's got the speed to challenge a Galopin des Champs over 3 miles or 2 miles 5 in either of the other races. So I think this is the race he'll go for, and he's 2 from 2 over fences. And his last start, I think you can actually mark that up, where he beat Fiori Delam, I think is called. I think that's how you pronounce it. And I think Paul Townend got in a little bit of trouble, got stuck in behind some horses, and this horse really stayed on strongly, got him out of trouble, and that suggested that the step up in trip might just suit. And now, is he a worthy favourite? Well, he didn't have too much experience, so 5 for 2 might be a little bit short, but for all, he is trained by Willie Mullins, so he might just be able to eke out that little bit of improvement that's needed. Second favourite is trained by Gordon Elliott, and it's Run Wild Fred, who's actually declared to run tomorrow against Fiori Delam, who was beaten a length by the Statler the other day. So that'll be an interesting form line to see how Run Wild Fred gets on against this horse, who is favourite to win Run Wild Fred. He's about 6 to 4 favourite at the minute, and he's a second season novice chaser, which is an angle I really like heading into this race. He's got plenty of experience and he's already run some big races over this sort of trip when he was second in the Irish Grand National last season, just beating a couple of lengths in the end. That was a very good performance, and he's been very good this season as well, always on the up for all. He was put in his place by Fiori Road last time, but I think the ground might have been a little bit too quick for him that day, and I think heading into the National Hunt Chase, if he does turn up, now there's question marks if he might just go here then straight to the National, and because I'm on at 33 to 1, I'm hoping that's the case. But if he does turn up, he'll have the most experience out of all of these, and I think he might take a little bit of beating at 7 to 2, and the Cheltenham no-runner money back markets, however good they are in some circumstances, they're really just ruin anti-post betting at this time of the year for races like this, because there's no value at 7 to 2. If he turned up on the day, might even go off a bigger price. You see that so often these days. But anyway, moving on to the most fancied English horse, and that's 3 under through 5 for Paul Nicholls and the McNeil family. Now this horse hasn't really been one that I've warmed to, but he does have some good form to his name, and he keeps on improving. He beat Does He Know, who won very impressively at Ascot just a few hours ago, and his form actually does read quite well and is improving and on the up, but just for me, I just can't see him winning this race. For all, he will stay all day. You definitely get the impression of that, and if he does turn up at 6 to 1, he might be a little bit of each way value, because he's the sort that will run well for sure, but you just think there might be something that improves past him. Horses bigger in the betting include Fiori Road, who there would be question marks about whether he does go, but he's a very good horse for Gordon Elliott. He was very impressive when he beat Run Wild Fred. There was no obvious excuses for that performance that day, and he's definitely one to keep an eye on if he does turn up again. That's the question mark. And Does He Know, to round off the video, I'm sure you've seen that performance at Ascot where he won by half the track. That was on very soft grounds. He stayed that very well, and he's definitely a novice chaser on the up, and he was and is favourite for the Ultima, but would that have ruined his mark? He won by a long way, and he was already rated 147, I think, so he'd be going into the Ultima off a big mark, and maybe this race might just be a little bit easier to win, who knows. But for all, he is a novice chaser to follow, and was given a very good ride by David Bass, and is a jockey to keep on your side in these big races, because he's pumping away long enough around, Does He Know, but he jumped very well, stayed on strongly, and got the job done. So that rounds up the National Hunt Chase. It's just a short video, because I don't really think it's the most inspiring race of all time, and who knows who's going to turn up to this race. I think it's one that you won't be getting too excited about, but Statler could be one that is improving and on the up, and at 5-2, if he turns up for Willie Mullins, he might just be the most likely winner, but I don't think it's the most inspiring race at all. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you over the next few days where I'm previewing more races, including the Ballymore, which is a very interesting race, and I'm going to try and pick apart that because, again, it's another race where it's very hard to determine who's turning up.